Now it's time for Inspirational Women and my guest, Blake Rabinowitz, a young poet, a young woman who inspires and encourages me so greatly. Not only is she honest about her feelings and expressing them, she also desires to help others to do so as well, to lead a healthy and a balanced life. Blake's book is Advice from the Older Sister I Never Had, and it's also a journal. Blake is hope personified. So let's hear more of her story. Blake Rabinowitz, good morning, and thank you so greatly for being with us today.
Good morning. I hope you had a great day over here, sunny and bright.
And what better way to start the day than with sunny and bright? And part of that sunshine, I think, for me is because right here on the East Coast, or on the West Coast, because you're on the East Coast, it's still a little bit overcast. But, you know, with who you are, the writer that you are, the inspiring young woman you are, I think that you're actually bringing the sunshine to us today.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I hope to spread kind of a hopeful message of mental health and taking care of it for our teens.
Well, I believe with your book, which is just so amazing, Advice from the Older Sister I Never Had, correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Actually, that's the title because I wish when I was younger I had an older sister or just someone older my age to let me know that my feelings with mental health and anxiety were perfectly normal and that there was a way that I could overcome and help deal with it.
So just out of curiosity, how old were you when those feelings surfaced?
So I was in about my freshman year, so 14-ish.
Okay, so really just a couple of years ago, because now you're in your junior year. So, and 2 years at any time can feel like a lot of growth. Well, 2 years ago, is that when you then decided that you would start writing this poetry?
Yeah, so it actually started in my English class, my freshman year, when I wrote a poem about three girls. One who was really smart, one who was really pretty, and the other one, me, who was just lucky to be their friend. And a lot of people went up to me, younger and older, who were in the class, and said, wow, I really resonated with that, and I didn't think that other people felt that way too. And so I started to realize that if no one was going to say these feelings, then we couldn't start to accept and love ourselves and our feelings.
So yes, isn't that something that there's just, it takes courage to say that for most kids. Did it feel for you that you really were stepping out there, becoming vulnerable by writing what you said?
Yeah, I mean, my writing, and for a lot of poets, is very personal to us, especially because all of the poems in my book were written at a time where I was at the height of sort of an emotional attack or had really felt like I was anxious or scared of something. And so releasing them into the world felt like people were reading a part of me.
Which is true. And that's where the courage comes in to actually put it down on paper, although that can be very private. But you, in class, I guess, your teacher wanted you to read these aloud, or how were they shared?
So we had about 10 poems that we wrote, and we all had to say one of them out loud. But I chose a really personal poem after one of my friends said that they really thought it was a good poem, and they thought other people would relate to it too.
And I trust that your teacher concurred.
Yes, she thought it was amazing, actually. She's been an inspiration to me throughout this process of encouraging me to start sharing this with my peers.
That is so exciting. How wonderful to have that kind of support in the classroom, a teacher who believes in you and encourages you, and your classmates as well, giving you this platform, this opportunity to really be able to express yourself both on paper but aloud as well, to have that public classroom, a public place to be able to share that Well, I'm sure it must have been frightening at sometimes, was it?
Definitely. I mean, before I said the poem, I was definitely shaking, really nervous, but I was lucky to have that support in the room.
Yes, because you have it's a small group, and you know that your teacher is supportive, and your little circle of friends was supportive of you and encouraging you.
Definitely, yeah.
Right. That is so exciting. So this is something that happened in freshman year. In ninth grade, at age 14, you started to express yourself in this way.
Yeah, I did. I've always loved writing ever since I was little, and I can say that, like, the middle school years were definitely challenging, but it was definitely that ninth grade classroom that let me speak out on it.
And so when you came to to freshman year, was it in a new school at that time, or was it still part of the junior high setting?
It was actually a part of the high school.
So it was a new school for you, a new environment.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely scary.
And that's important to know because you write about that too, about that being the scary thing about going to a new school and not knowing many people or not knowing what the layout, the landscape is. And so you really, to be able to really express yourself in this totally new environment. Again, I can't say enough about how admirable that is, that you were able to just really, even though you liked writing, to be able to be so open and to do this.
Yeah, and I can say about that, it's really hard for kids my age to speak up about feelings of anxiety or mental health issues. And so this book is kind of a way for them to realize that those like that anxiety and those issues, people feel them too, especially kids their age. And just the feeling of knowing they're not alone really helps in order to take a step to confront and help yourself.
Oh, that again is so insightful and so important because you're really expressing what we know, we the adults know is such an issue, is mental health. And it's really so critical in these teen years where it's no secret how rampant suicide is, or just breakdowns. And to be able to address this, it is just amazing that you're able to do so, to speak about it, to write about it, Blake.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree that the presence of social media has exacerbated this, how we look on there and all we see are our peers who seem like their lives are perfect or like they aren't struggling at all. And it's just really important to open up and let others see that it's not all perfect.
Exactly. And I think you write about that too, in terms of all the social media and all the connections, and yet there's just still so much loneliness, even though all of that social connection exists.
Yeah, that's actually one of the poems that I've written.
Would you say that might be one of your favorites? I was thinking it would be great for you to share one of your poems that really has, I think they all have meaning. So we'll put that out there. They're all very meaningful. Is there one that stands out that you would feel like you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I would actually love to share the first one in the book, which is Other People. It's a poem about comparing yourself to others, which I think is very prevalent today, especially with social media. So, Other People. It can feel like other people are amazing at the unique thing they do, except you, especially not you. You're good at some things, not the best at anything, and sometimes you win. But it's not enough to begin to compare yourself to other people. It's hard to get first place, first in a race, or any medal that takes up space. And even if you do, other people have another ace. But other people aren't you. In fact, there is no one who has never failed one thing they've pursued. You never know what other people hide because no one is perfect deep down inside. Maybe, just maybe, to someone else, you are a person who is amazing while their talents are uncertain. And that's it.
Yeah. And it's so deep, so much wisdom for, were you 14? Was that one of those early poems?
So that was actually, I was still 14 when I wrote that one, but most of the others I wrote when I was 15, so started sophomore year, middle.
So, Blake, where does this wisdom come from? You're like this old soul.
I mean, really it came from trying to express my feelings, the things I've heard throughout the years of talking to doctors or guidance counselors, or things I've just felt myself that I wish someone had told me after coming to terms with it.
So you were obviously, I'm going to say like a sponge. You really were open to listening, open to learning, wanting to grow. And is that kind of on the mark? Would you say that's so?
Of course, yeah. It's really important to be open-minded and willing to change and learn.
In your family, are you the oldest sibling?
I have a twin brother, but I am older by 2 minutes. So, yeah.
A twin brother. Oh, so that's an entirely other dynamic that goes on to having a twin because, well, you're fraternal, obviously, being he's your brother. But still, I understand with twins that there can be this kind of deep communication, this really extraordinary bond.
Yeah, definitely. We've always been like side by side there for each other, but it's in our own different ways. We're both kind of yin and yang opposites.
Interesting. So let's see that you're the thinker, the philosopher, the writer. So is he more what? More active? How is he different?
He's very social. He has lots of friends. Everyone just like loves him. And he does do like a wide variety of sports. I say that he does land sports and I do swimming or water sports.
Okay. And we want to talk about that a bit too. But I'm thinking when you say that he is so social and has this large group of friends, and yet with the way that you are, you may have maybe a smaller circle, but with what you're doing, with your writing and this reaching out, I feel that you really do also have in a different way a huge circle of friends.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, it just feels that way. And maybe that then fits into what you write about is that, we just have these thoughts about how someone else is, so much bigger, so much greater, but we have our own talents that make us be great as who we are.
Yes, of course. And having a twin who I've compared myself to my whole life has definitely taught me to admire and love my own talents too.
Wonderful. Wow. Now, being a supportive twin brother, I would imagine he's supportive of what you are doing and what you're accomplishing.
Yeah, he loves it. I think he's read my book, and he always supports me in everything I do.
Oh, wonderful. But you say that kind of with a chuckle that you think he's read it. You're not sure?
I've read a couple of poems to him, and he has a copy in his room, and he takes one with him when he goes places, and has told his friends multiple times that I've written a book, and I can't ask for a better brother.
Well, wonderful. I am so happy that you have this supportive brother who also just happens to be your twin, but you are older by 2 minutes, so very significant. So, yes, you have a book published. You are 16 and you have a book that is really, we're going to call it a tool in this case, a tool that can help others be all that they can be, which is kind of the desire of who we are on this planet, right? We're born to be here and become all of who we are. And you're already on this journey and doing it in such a way to help others. And the book was published earlier this year, correct?
Yeah, it was actually published the day before my 16th birthday, so on the 31st of May.
Oh, my goodness. What a birthday gift.
I know. It was amazing.
That is so amazing. So let's take a moment or two to talk about the book's availability and, how people can learn more about it.
So they can always go to my website, Advice from the Older Sister I Never Had. It's on Amazon, and there have been a couple of articles published about it, especially by Huntington Now, which is just about social media and how this is a tool to help kids get away from their phones and their devices and connect with themselves.
So you have had these interviews to talk with journalists about the book and what your hopes and dreams are for it.
Yes, I've started with a couple of workshops, and it's kind of progressed into going not just locally, but to anyone who can benefit from this anywhere.
Well, and isn't that what is so great about today's world, is that we can have that connection, so that even though you are on the East Coast, here we are, 3,000 miles away, we can also connect with you and engage and potentially host a workshop.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. So tell us a little bit more about what the workshop is.
So I usually start with just introducing myself, who I am, and why this is so important. I give them usually a journal to either decorate if we have more time or to make their own personally. And I go through a couple of journal prompts with the students about what they would like to do in the future, or short-term goals, or anything personal that they'd like to share. And then hopefully I encourage them to share a bit about what they've written. And it usually turns into a discussion between all of the members in that workshop, and they give each other advice, they talk about their feelings, and they realize that a lot of them have the same things written down. And it's really helpful to kind of understand that what they're feeling is shared not only by people their age, but older, different genders, different types of people like athletes or scholarly students.
And that is an incredible insight and awareness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with what you just shared, these workshops really are cross-generational, many different ages, not just for your own age group.
Yeah. My aunt took the book and said that she thought it was great for people her age, even though she was a lot older and had already gone through high school. But she felt that even though it was talking about some of those high school teenagerish feelings, the Bell poem can relate to a new job, or comparing to other people just spans across any age.
Absolutely. I do know that in the workplace, people often will say, oh, this feels just like high school, because those kinds of feelings and sometimes the competition or the rivalries come up. And so to have the insights that you've become aware of and you write about, Blake, and share with us in this book, in this wonderful book, Advice from the Older Sister I Never Had, really, like your aunt discovered, relates to us regardless of our age.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. It's so incredible. I'm going to take a slight diversion here from the book and your writing, because as you kind of alluded to, that you're really active in water sports. So you are really multidimensional in terms of the person, the human being, the young woman that you are. Share with us a little bit about what you do in terms of water sports.
So I love to swim. I'm on my varsity and club teams here, and I also love to do water polo when we do it at swim, and it's just like a really big passion of mine. I love competing, and I love how it's individual yet team at the same time.
And so it's also a job for you. You are you a lifeguard?
Yeah, I'm a lifeguard at my community school, and so I've worked there the past couple summers and into the school year a little bit.
Oh, that That is wonderful too. So we see kind of just, the multi-dimension of who you are as this young woman. And how do you find for yourself having that, having swimming, doing physical exercise, how does that relate to your introspection and writing and journaling? Do you see this connection or the need for there being kind of these two sides of a coin?
So, I think both of them are such deep parts of my lives. I've always loved to kind of escape reality, and so writing helps me delve deeper into my emotions and into different worlds with reading. But swimming really helps me bond with other people as a team. And when I'm swimming, it's almost like I feel in a different world.
So it feels like really all of it is just really important with who you are, and each dimension supports the other.
Yeah, it's also really about taking care of myself mentally and physically, and making sure that I'm just great all around.
Yeah, and as you say that again, you sound like this wise person. Obviously, this is teaching us wisdom is not of a certain number. Wisdom is obviously gained at all ages, but I still am in awe that at 16, you have these insights, this awareness. Yes, I'm in awe that you have these insights, that you're able to articulate them and share them with us.
Yeah, and it's also, great for other kids to kind of hear this message and know that they're not alone in what they're feeling as well, and that they can maybe relate to some of the struggles I've had with mental health and anxiety, and realize that I'm not amazing or perfect or even an ideal person to be. I'm a regular teen that has had these stresses, even with everything I've accomplished, and that's okay.
Yes, that's okay, and you feel that you're on this mission to encourage others that that you're not exceptional, even though I feel you are quite exceptional. I bet your parents think you're exceptional as well. But to make others realize that, do not despair. Don't go down this devolving path, but be encouraged to find that way home yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And of course, with this book, Advice from the Older Sister I Never Had, as you share some of your special poetry here, your writings with us, to encourage us, especially young people. But as we said, this applies to all ages. We all are on this journey and need support and encouragement. There are pages to do our own writing, our own journaling.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research on journaling, which started through a mention at my pediatrician's office, which shows that it's a great way, even if you feel like you're the busiest person in the world, to make you happier, to reduce your stress, and even help you physically heal sometimes. And it's a way to really connect with yourself and sort of cope through the emotions that you're feeling.
And as you've done that, Blake, have you had, has it happened for you that as you've written something, you sit back and think, oh my gosh, wow, that is what I really was feeling? Have you had kind of surprises along those lines?
I feel like it's always things that I've known, but I've just never wanted to say to myself. When I flip through the pages of my journal, I kind of see common themes that I maybe sometimes don't want to admit to myself, and it's given me courage to kind of make some different decisions in my life.
Oh, there you are. Wisdom again. Playing out. But I would imagine it's not to say that you don't trip up on things. Let's see, I jotted down something that you said. in one of your poems. I don't know if I'm going to find it. One bad test, one bad grade, one hard class isn't the end of the world. You'll be fine. And isn't that so critical? I mean, for us at any age in a job, I made that mistake. Okay, it doesn't define us. So, like in high school, in classes, to not win a swim meet, for example, that doesn't define us. It's just part of the experience.
Of course, yeah, that's one of, the most meaningful poems, I think, in there, especially for me, because I tend to kind of attack myself when I've done something wrong or get really discouraged. And I know a lot of other teens share that too, and people in general. We tend to always want to be perfect and strive for the best. And while that's a great quality to have, it's really important not to beat yourself up if you've done something wrong and realize that you can learn from it and it doesn't define you.
Yes. So critically important to be reminded of it because, as you said, you've felt that within you, and then to see it written out has really been a great awareness, and then to share it with us, we can really relate to where that might happen in our own lives.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. A book to take into your own life and realize that what you're feeling is okay and that you're not alone.
Absolutely. So let's mention again the availability of the book, where we might find it, and then we'll talk about why it's so important to do.
So it's on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, anywhere online, and it's really important because it helps validate your feelings and it encourages you to start talking with yourself, start journaling and making yourself happier, and can really start to open you up to talking about others. It's really hard for teens to do that sometimes, or people in general. And once you start writing it down, you're going to see those patterns or those things that you might not want to tell yourself that you need to hear.
And have you then had any workshops or connections with other classes in your school, or perhaps other schools in your area or out of the area even?
Yes, I've worked with the Reach CYA in my area, my school for our mental health day for teens, and also with my community for a senior mental health day that's coming up in a little bit in November.
So they have reached out to you to come and join them and to do a workshop?
Yes, I've done workshops in the past for them, and in the future as well. I'll be doing definitely more workshops in my community there too.
And so how does all of this feel for you, Blake, as this young teenager going to classes, but having these connections and encouraging others to journal and work on their personal growth?
I feel like I'm really making a difference in my community and to anyone who picks up my book and starts to work on their feelings and be honest with themselves. And it makes me really happy to realize that I could be making a difference.
Oh, there you are, Ms. Rabinowitz, being that wise young woman that you are. And in your book, you write this: I always wished I had someone a little older than me to tell me it was okay to have these feelings and I wasn't the only person to feel this way. Although I thought it went further that to say that if this book, if these poems even help one individual, it will have been worth it.
Yes, definitely. Every single person that looks at this book, even if it's one or a million, I feel like I'm making a positive impact, and that's the goal, to start to help people and help this issue.
You're right. On the mark with that, absolutely. I believe you are doing it. I am so touched by who you are, by what you are doing, by encouraging others. And Blake Rabinowitz, I'm really grateful that we've had this opportunity, this time to be able to connect today.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me and sharing my message. I'm so happy that you read the book and that you jotted some of the stuff down that I've said, and I hope to anyone listening that you either buy my book or start spreading some awareness about mental health.
Absolutely. Well, again, so many thanks, and I wish you continued growth and really great steps along the way. You really have this great foundation. So keep up this wonderful, amazing work, because the world needs you, Blake.
Oh, thank you so much.
That brings us to the end of a very full hour of Inspirational Women with Blake Rabinowitz and Sunday Morning Magazine with Michelle Millman, the CEO of Cancer Pathways. I'm Kate Daniels, your host, and I greatly appreciate your sharing this hour with me and these special guests. For details you might have missed or information you'd like to know, please just send me an email, kated@warm1069.com, and I will get right back to you. Also, if you'd like to listen again or to share these important stories with your family and friends, find the podcast on our Warm 1069 webpage. Just click on the Listen tab, then Podcasts, then either of the show names, and then look for the guest name. I now wish you and your family a day of some good, open communication about life, about what is happening with each other. Have a week of the same, and then please plan to join me again next weekend for another hour of Sunday Morning Magazine and Inspirational Women on Warm 1069. Good morning.